And welcome to Jackie Stitches. I'm Jackie, and I'm so glad that you're here today. I am now in my office slash craft rooms slash sewing room, and I moved in here over the winter break, and I am really enjoying the lighter and brighter space in here. So I plan to record in here most of the time. Um, I am calling this a floss tube because I am going to talk about my favorites from January and favorites related to stitching. So I'm going to talk about a favorite pattern that I saw this month that I want to purchase, movies I watched while stitching, books I listened to, my favorite YouTubers, my favorite project, things like that. So it shouldn't be too long of a video, but hopefully kind of fun. I've been doing my favorites in my journal for a couple of years, and it is fun to kind of look back at the end of the year to see what I was doing each month. And so I thought it would be fun to do a video on that related to stitching that I could look back at the end of the year. So I hope you enjoy it too. Okay, the first category of favorites I want to talk about today are YouTube channels and how I'm relating these to stitching because not all of them are stitching channels, is that I am stitching while I'm watching them. And so the first one is one that I think probably most of you already watch. And if you don't, I hope you'll go check them out. And that is Just Keep Stitchin' with Pam and Steph. They are just so much fun to watch, and I get a lot of project ideas from them. And I like seeing the progress that Pam especially makes. She talks about that she stitches like it's her full-time job because she's retired and she gets an amazing amount of projects done. So that's really fun to watch. And I will have all these linked below, so I hope you'll go check them out. The second one is not a stitching channel, and I'm a little bit of a weather nerd. And I used to watch, well, not really watch. I would have the weather channel on when it was more of a full channel than it is now and it was more local. It would always pop on and have your local weather. I don't even know if it does that anymore or if it's even around anymore. I would just have that on in the background. I know that's kind of nerdy, but I did that a lot. And now I sometimes turn on weather channels on YouTube, and Ryan Hall is my favorite of all the weather YouTubers I've found, or Ryan Hall Y'all. He's really interesting to watch and has a lot of information, and he goes live pretty often when there's bad weather out. And so if you haven't seen him, you should check him out because he's got weather spotters and storm chasers out, and so it's kind of fun to see where they're at and what's happening in other parts of the country. So it's a good one. So hope you'll check that one out. The next stitching channel I love to watch is Primrose Cottage, and I stitch a lot of their patterns, and I really enjoy watching those ladies. It's four sisters and their mom, and I've been watching them for over a year. They are probably the ones that got me back into stitching more than any YouTube video I watched. They're live every Thursday at 11 Mountain Standard Time, I think. But they're recorded so you can catch their videos anytime. And they are linked below. Um, the last one is not a stitching channel, but this top that I have on, which I think is really cute, and I picked up this year, and it actually has cross stitches. All this pattern is cross stitched. And this reminds me of this channel I'm going to tell you about because they live in an A-frame and he drives a truck. I don't think it's red, but it's filmed in the northeastern part of the US and it's called Trout and Coffee. And the way he films is and narrates is just beautiful. It's so relaxing to watch that. I will watch that a lot while I'm stitching. If I haven't gotten caught up with him, I'll have several to watch, and they're fairly long videos. So I will have that one linked below and hope you'll check that out. Just beautiful. And then another YouTube channel that I am putting in a separate category of ambiance channels. I have ambiance channels on quite often. And my favorite one this month is called Winter Bookstore Cafe by Relaxing Jazz Rhythms. And the scenery in this photo, I just took a screenshot, is a bookstore and I love it. So, and I like the soft jazz. It's perfect. To stitch to, I use these when I'm reading too sometimes. So hope you'll check that one out. I don't have a local needlework shop. I think the closest one is in St. Louis, which would be Color and Cotton. And there might be some others in the St. Louis area too. So I do a lot of my shopping and window shopping online. And one pattern in January kept popping up for me, and I haven't purchased it yet, but I plan to. And that is called Garden of Quilts by Lori Holt. Some of you have probably stitched it already. I don't think it's a new pattern. And I'm currently stitching Flea Market Flowers and really loving those bright colors and just clean designs. And so I do plan to purchase that one. And that was definitely my favorite. My favorite project that I worked on this year is, or in January, I should say, is Berry Basket by Primrose Cottage. I started working on that several months ago and didn't really like the fabric at first, but it softened up with use. It was a 14 count Aida, and I ended up finishing that in January and gave that to my mom this weekend as a birthday gift. And it turned out really cute. And I have a photo up here. I'll probably talk about this one in my next Flosstube where I talk about more of my projects I've been working on. And I'll talk about it as one of my FFOs. So, but that was my favorite project that I worked on in January. And as far as stitching products, I actually didn't buy any stitching products in January. And, I'm not even totally sure I bought any patterns. I'd have to look. But I did not buy any products. So for this category, I just want to highlight fresh flowers because fresh flowers to me are really important in the winter months, and I buy them probably every 2 weeks, if I can. And I have a couple of photos here of flowers, one that I received as a gift, but then I arranged, and one that I arranged and gave as a gift. Um, I've been shopping at my local supermarket for them and Trader Joe's, and they have a good selection for a good price. And it's a little small luxury, um, but I think it's important for me to see fresh flowers in the winter. You might be the same. I do struggle in the winter a little bit, sometimes a lot. So that's my product, even though it's not related to stitching. It's important. Okay. I have two favorite books that I listened to this in January, and I listen to these a lot while I'm stitching. I listen to them also in the car and other times cooking dinner, getting ready in the morning sometimes before I go to sleep. Um, so one of these books I've already mentioned in my last video, and that was called Evie Drake Starts Over by Linda Holmes. And I really liked this book. If you didn't see that last video, it's about um, Evie's life is kind of upended when her husband dies, and she gets talked into having a Major League Baseball player move into her spare bedroom or extra apartment. And it's really just about the two of them and second chances, and it has a romance, and it's my kind of book. So it was a good one. Highly recommend that one. And my second book is also by Linda Holmes, and just finished this one, and it's called Flying Solo. And this one had a little bit of a mystery and caper and but also a romance, and I really loved it. I don't know if Linda Holmes has written any more books other than these 2, but I'm going to be looking for more. This one is, a great aunt passes away, and the main character, Lori, ends up going to go through her things, and she finds this mysterious wooden duck or decoy for duck hunting, and it, there's a lot of mystery surrounding this, and she just keeps thinking it means something, and it does mean something, and so there's, a lot of, a guy that's not so great that tricks her into selling it to him and trying to get it back, and there's a romance aspect with an old high school boyfriend, and really good. It kept me interested from beginning to end, so hopefully you'll check that one out too. Okay, the another category I have is favorite music I listen to, but honestly, I really didn't listen to any this month or in January. I was usually watching something or listening to my audiobook. So future videos might have a playlist or songs that I've listened to, but not this month. Okay. Um, so the shows that I've been watching while stitching, there have been 3 that I would say that are my favorites. And the first one is a new one called Best Medicine. And I think it's on Fox, but also then, you can find it on Hulu maybe the next day, and it's a remake actually of a show that used to be on PBS here in the States called Doc Martin, and it's about a surgeon who had a mental health break during a surgery and I think sort of froze, and now he is when he sees blood, he panics, and so he has moved to this small town to be the town doctor and isn't able to treat his patients when they're bleeding or need to be stitched up. And so I'm only a few episodes in, so only one person so far knows what's going on, his receptionist. And it's very funny and touching. And those of us who have any sort of anxiety, we can maybe see ourselves a little bit. Although I don't have any aversion to that specifically, but it's a really good show, and I recommend that one. And the other one that I just got into, which also has been on for several seasons, it's a PBS show, and that's called All Creatures Great and Small, based on the books by James Herriot, and it's about Harriet's life as a country vet. And I think I've just finished the first season, and I love the scenery and the relationships, and the main vet that Harriet's working under is just a grumpy old guy, but I think he has heart, and some of the scenes with the animals I don't love because they're in distress, but overall just a really nice show that I look forward to continuing to watch. I think there's quite a few seasons, and I think a new one just came out. The third show that is my favorite for January started at the very end of January. So I'm recording this on February 1st, and it just started maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and that's Bridgerton season 4. If you like period historical dramas, this is a good one. It's a little spicy, so if you don't like any spice, you might stay away from this one. But it's funny, and the costumes are beautiful, and there's the whole season, each season is based on a romance. So, it's just really good. I would love to hear from any of you who have watched any of these shows and what your thoughts are. And yeah, so those are my favorite shows. Um, there were 2 movies that I watched while stitching this in January, and I keep wanting to say this year. So for January, the first one think I saw on Netflix, but it might have been on Hallmark, called The Royal We, and it's about, a sister who was basically the heir to the throne, and she ended up, um, not wanting to marry to the person that they arranged her marriage to, so I think she left him at the altar, possibly. I don't remember exactly, but she ends up marrying, I think, a plumber or a gardener or something, and is very happy. And so her younger sister then has to get married to the person that they were trying to arrange the marriage, and they end up actually really liking each other. And it's a really cute movie about the progression of their relationship. So look that one up. I'm not exactly sure where it's playing. I'll find that and put it in the description. And the second movie that I watched while stitching is called People We Meet on Vacation, and I believe that is on Netflix, based on a romance book by Emily Henry. And I think the reviews are mixed on this one. I think it was perfect for stitching. It was a cute movie. I think if you read the book and loved it, some people, aren't liking the movie as much, but doesn't that always happen? Um, It was perfect for stitching. It was kind of just a cute movie that I didn't have to pay that much attention to, but it's about, 2 friends who take a week of vacation every year for, I don't know, maybe 10 years or something, and then they grow apart, which is revealed why in the movie, and then how they come back together. The whole movie, or most of the movie, are flashbacks to their trips they took every year. And so it's really cute. I don't think it's going to win a lot of awards, but a really cute movie to stitch to. Okay, and before I wrap up this January favorites, I just wanted to um, mention that it feels a little frivolous to do these kind of videos or any video when all the things that are going on in our country are really heartbreaking. And for those of you in Minnesota, I just am really thinking of you and any other cities where so much is happening. As one of the YouTubers that I watch that's in Minnesota, she said, "We're safe, but we're not okay." And that really touched me. And they're really feeling it there, but I think so many of us around the country are feeling it. So, when I was thinking about this video today, it feels frivolous to do it, but I also think it's important to talk about the things that we love and spread a little bit of joy. And so, as I was thinking about this today, I opened up my email and I subscribe to Mary Davis's newsletter. She has a book that I read called Everyday Spirit, and I think she does a newsletter at the beginning of every month. And today's newsletter, she was talking about this very thing that, well, one of the things she said is in a world that is increasingly less peaceful, how do we become instruments of peace? And I would add, how do we do that in a world that's increasingly angry? And she said a lot of people in her post last month responded to this. So I wanted to read some of those responses. And before I do that, I just want to say that even though this video seems slightly silly to do about my favorites, I think it's a way for us to connect to each other. Um, there might be a show that we both enjoy watching, or a book that we both enjoy reading or listening to, and that's how we connect and find common ground. And I think that's probably more important maybe than it's ever been. So the image that she talks about is putting a stone into a crystal blue smooth body of water, and she throws the stone in, and the ripples, how they go out to the shore, and that's just one stone and it ripples all the way across the water. And I was thinking about that, and all of us who are here on Flosstube sharing the things that we love, we're doing that. We're just spreading a little bit of joy in every video that's put out. And so some of the things that her followers um, posted was, "We change the world with our passionate will. We change the world by clearly imagining it as whole and healed. We change the world one by one positive thought, action, or prayer at a time, rippling endlessly." Um, we always have a choice. Drop a stone in the river and be a ripple in the water of love. We change the world by sending out fervent blessings over and over and over. When we feel helpless to make a difference in our world or in times of challenge and suffering, there's always something we can do. So she said that she put the actions together and she said, "You prayed, you blessed people, you blessed the world, you wrote a poem, you called your representatives, you had a talk with your angels, you donated to a group you support, you journaled, you looked into a community service, you dedicated your yoga practice, you were kind to people on your daily round, you took a few minutes to put down the phone and breathe." And if we don't do anything else, just putting down our phones and stop scrolling and go outside for a few minutes, that might be the most important thing that each of us do today. So I hope that this little silly video brings you a little bit of joy. I hope it brings us, or it makes us more connected in some way. And thank you so much for joining me today. And I look forward to being back with a regular Flosstube video and then maybe a February favorites at the end of the month or the beginning of March. And please share in the comments anything that you're doing to bring some joy into your life or someone else's. I would love to hear it. I think we could all use some suggestions right now. So thank you again for coming, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.